Are we live? Excellent, excellent. I figured we were live, but there was no little thing that popped up. Anyway, howdy, howdy, everyone. Welcome to Babble with Bronies. I am your host, Everlasting Joy. My co-workers, Twilight is Magic and Mr. Ben. Let's get started, shall we? Is the lag bad? I'm going to send a quick message. I want to get a test of the lag. By the way, I do have another question for you guys. Can you see the text now? What I did was increase the text and fonts, or the font size, because people are okay. It's pretty bad. That might be you, Mr. Ben. Much better than last week's, at least on my end. I'm getting mixed signals here. I was testing the bandwidth like crazy before we got here, and the reason being is because I got a message from someone last week constructively criticizing me, saying I can't see the text. So what I did was I thought, wait a minute, why not increase it? So that's why I'm increasing it. It's a different font type because the system default doesn't have font sizes. It just has one. But anyway, enough with the technicalities and technobabble. Sorry, folks. Let's get started on the stuff that actually matters, shall we? But in terms of the lag, though, thank you for that. Methinks the bandwidth is just being dumb today. So I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that. The only thing I have for news and announcements is just one announcement. Technobabble should be part of it. As I was saying, 2 weeks from now, the 12th of May, it's questionable. I'm going to stress that again, questionable if we'll be streaming. And the reason being is because a few days prior to that date, I'll be moving, and I can't guarantee that the internet's going to be great or everything's going to be in order. So I'm just going to say that on the 12th, it'll be questionable. I will make the call on that Saturday if we'll be having it or not. I'll throw it on the front page and notify as far and across as I can. My Twitter account, my Facebook profile, everywhere that I can scream it. Everywhere that I can scream it, I'll say if we will or will not be streaming. That's my business, Mr. Ben. I'll try my best to make it happen, but I can't. Like I said, I can't guarantee it. And I will give you guys a forewarning. There might be another Sunday in May, not the 12th. After that, in which there might also be a question of whether I'll be streaming or not. But after that, hopefully we should reach a more stable schedule. It's May. It's graduation time. Anyway, let's move on with more important things. You guys want to start with videos or art today? I did. I thought I covered that last J.E. Smith. I thought I covered that. If I didn't, yeah, he is correct, folks. Excuse me. He is correct, folks. J.E. Smith is correct. I know what it is. It wasn't, I didn't cover it. It's that I didn't get those follow-up results. That's it. But good on them. Thank you for that, J.E. Smith. I didn't hear that news at all, so... See, this is why I open it up to discussion, folks. I can't do video art, not a blending. Anyway, yeah, that'll come up in a short second, Twilight is Magic. But like I said, art or videos first? I got 3, 4, 5. 5 for art. 5 straight for art. So we're going to do art first. Yeah, I'm also a little behind. Bear with me on that one, folks. Oh, hey, Nocturnal Pony, you are here. I did take a look at a lot of the. I always have to take a look at who's here, and that's always a tricky thing to get to. But let's just get started. All right, I'm gonna go with this first one. Okay, J.E. Smith. The first one is by we got 2 of them here by Pixel Kitties. Let me get my ugly mug out of the way first. First one, let's go with this one first. This one's Happy Anniversary, Cadence and Shining Armor. For those of you who, I wasn't aware of this until this was brought up all over the Ponyverse. It's been 1 year since Season 2's finale. Can you guys believe that? I can't. And yet, it's true. But sure enough, it's been 1 year since the Shining Armor and Cadence got married. And much like Derpy Day, I kind of like that we're celebrating this. Thanks, Dark92 Enigma. Okay, silly Zippy. Anyway, what do you guys have to say about this one? One of the things that I do like about this one is a nice simplistic take on things. We've got another lineless one coming up here, but we'll get to that when we get there. I kind of like some of these lineless ones people do. Mind you, there's some detailing that gets lost when they don't do that. However, simplistic is the point of this, and in that respect, I like this. I did get that. All right, this next one goes out to all my Whovians as well. Probably saw this one, folks. Are You My Mummy? I've just got one thing to say about this one. If you could concentrate. There it is. I literally forgot about it until about a second there. There it is. What do you guys have to say about this one? Anyway, let's move on. Let's do this one. We'll get a comic done first. This next one's by CSI Mad Max, titled Robot Companion. It creeps everyone out, Matt the Shadow Man, even me. That one was rather disturbing. As I was saying, let's get on with this comic here. Where was it? Robot Companion by CSI Mad Max. Hey, I will say this, folks. Try refreshing if the lag is bad. So, try refreshing. Anyway. The wasteland is so dangerous. I think I need a companion. You have come to the right place, sweetie. We have robots equipped with missiles, missile launchers, lasers, miniguns, plasma pistols. By the way, check the robots in the back when you guys get a chance. And this week we have a special sale on this Protectatron. Just assume the position and... Okay, what kind of robot companion is that? One equipped with a great heart. And sometimes that's the only weapon you need. No, I was not trying to go for Applejack with that giraffe. Just a generic female voice. Cutest giraffe pony. No, that was just since it was generic narration. Anyway, Robot Companion by CSI Mad Max. Let's go with this one. This one's by a new person titled I Am Te Pilot. Titled The Truth Is I Don't Care for Him at All. I saw this one and I just said, oh, I've got to pick this one up. See if I can't enlarge it a little bit. I'll just do a, I Am Te Pilot. Thing that stuck out about this one was the art style. It's very show quality, but like a high, I want to say either a high quality or a high definition show quality. Either way, it looked really good. The lighting in it was particularly nice. Those eyes, so evil. The Truth Is I Don't Care for Him at All by I Am Te Pilot. Yes, that's a hat she's burning. Chrysalis did burn a hat, remember? Matt the Shadow Man. You're hitting the nail on the head here. I will ask, can we get off of Futurama here, folks? Sucks it's being canceled, but let's move on. Which one? Ooh, let's go with... let's go with this one. These next two are by Murphy Law for Me. Seen him on here quite some time. This one is titled Chrysalis... Or wait, wrong one. Princess Luna, sketch number 5. Later on that one. That Chrysalis one. Something that really caught my eye about this piece was when... She was never called it. She was eventually revealed by one of the... someone on the show staff. Alex M. Anyway, howdy Muffinshire. Anyway, let's focus on this piece here. Thing that caught me about this one was exactly the shading moon view, or at least the, you could almost call it the lack thereof. What stuck out was someone took a Princess Luna and instead applied a more light effect to it. Or it wasn't dark, it wasn't night. She does exist in the daytime, folks, so it's really nice. I like that he took this take on her, that it's bright out, it's light. I love that. Always forgetting something. I forgot to plug my computer in, but thankfully I have a lot of battery on it. And if that's the only thing I forget, folks, then it's going to be a good day. There we go. I agree, Twilight is magic. Alright, let's move on. This next one by him is titled Wrath of Nightmare Moon. This one, on the other hand, uses a more dark shading. But that's not a bad thing. The thing that caught my eye about this one was the facial expression. I love that facial expression. Why? It looks real. It looks really angry. You can see you can see the rage beneath her. And that's awesome. He captured it perfectly. Dark Enigma. Take care, man. Try refreshing, silly Zippy. Anyway, Wrath of Nightmare Moon. Let's move on. A bit's better than nothing, Twilight is Magic. Okay. Who next? Who next? Who next? Okay, let's go with this one. This one is by a new one titled, new person, Hexflug, titled Starbright. Now, who's this handsome stallion, you might ask? Well, how do I want to reveal this? I'll tell you what. If the person wants to reveal his or her identity in this, I'll let them. But what I will say is this is that other lineless piece I was referring to, folks. I love the coloring of this OC. I really do. That white on blue, it always looks so, it's so well done. Much better. I wish I could fight the lag. I really do. I really am sorry, folks, about the lag. There's only so much I can do. But anyway, LXM, no, it's not my OC. It really isn't. Anyway, let's move on. This is Starbright by Hexflug. We've gone quite a bit without a comic. This one's not really terribly much of a comic, but we'll get there in a second. Oh, I should note for you guys, I am redesigning my OC, so you'll see him in time. It'll be a while, but you'll see him redesigned here. But for now, no, that is not my OC. Anyway, this next one is titled Discharged Babysitter by Joey Darkmeat. Now, it's not terribly much of a comic, but I'm going to title it under a comic. To make a long story short, it's Soldier from Team Fortress 2 babysitting the CMCs. There is some speech in here, so don't worry, you guys. Yes, that is adorable. And this little piggy couldn't take a hit and went wah, 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 all the way home to his mommy in a box. Discharged Babysitter by Joey Darkmeat. Let's go with this one. I am just kind of scanning the views, the text here, folks. So that's the. It was just Silly Zippy was more of a sketch dump, but what I liked about it was just a presentation of scenarios. Anyway, This next one is titled Twilight's Family Humanization by Foxme. Had her work on here before. As a matter of fact, we had her work on here last week, that Luna piece. I saw this one. I think I probably could have put this one in the previous week, but I think it was for time that I figured time, and I love to show people's work over multiple weeks because every episode might be someone's first. So to have this gives the artist a better chance of being seen by the new people. Anyway, yeah, this she does such a darn good job of humanizations. Yeah, giving it a more anime-ish feel, Architect. You are correct, but that's partially why I like her work here is that humanized anime-ish feel. I like that. I really do. And I hope you guys do too. Anyway, Twilight's Family Humanization by Foxme. Okay, I'll do this one next. Nocturnal Pony, who are you referring to? Me. I see what you mean. No, they'll be done by that'll be gone by tonight, hopefully. If not, sometime during the week. Anyway, this next one is by our good friend Toxic Mario, titled Fierce Encounters. For those of you who don't know who this is his original character, Wereluna. I can't speak terribly on behalf of the story here, so work with me here as I try and explain it from a third-party perspective. Way back in Halloween of 2012, he created this character titled Wereluna, wherein it's just like a werewolf transformation. On the full moon, where Luna basically becomes this werewolf-like pony. It's his creation, so if you want anything to do with it, talk to him about it. This is a big, popular, it's one of his most popular creations, and of all the things he's done, go to him at a convention, and if he's selling Wereluna stuff, it's going to be very funny, Mr. Ben. They're going to be sold out. Matt the Shadow Man. No, not like that abomination. Don't worry about that. If I recall right, there's something next week concerning this such that we're going to bring this up again. And I'll bring it up when we get there. But for now, just enjoy this art and just enjoy the art. Yeah, I am aware of that as well, Twilight is Magic. But he said he's aware of that, but he just fell under... he said he doesn't care. He likes the name kind of thing. So, like I said, just kind of one of those deal with it mentalities. And if I had sunglasses, I would so put them on right now. Anyway, moving along. I've got 3 of these here by Vifex, but one of them mature. This first one is titled CMC DJs. Yay. Or I'm sorry. CMC DJs. Yay! I've never seen this combination before. Scootaloo and Vinyl Scratch. But it works. It works beautifully. Another thing that I like about this is the coloring and the smoke effects. It's been long time since I've seen smoke effects used in a picture before. But of course the lighting just works kind of wonderfully. The purple and yellow, kind of a nice complement to everything. Yoink. Scoots is best DJ. Alright, moving along here. This next one's a commission titled Metalcore Pony. CMC played Justin Bieber. So no cutie marks. Oh, that's terrible. As if that would make it. Let me rephrase that. As if that's what they would be playing, Duckley EXE. Anyway, let's focus on this photo here. Why do I keep saying photo? Picture. Drawing. Illustrator. Let's focus on that, okay? Anyway, Metalcore Pony, I've got a message for you. The color scheme is good. That blue and tannish yellow, that's a good, I like that color scheme. I don't see any metal. You've seen them before, Radiogenic Pony? It's just a basic profile shot, people. Work with it. Alright, now how I handle mature art when it comes to people who I've interviewed, who I've promised I would show their work, this is how I do it, folks. I'm going to write the word mature, and then I'm going to post the link. I don't show it on the air, so if you click it, and then you click past the DeviantArt Mature filter, you have no one to blame but yourself for viewing it, okay? So, this next one is titled Jof on Jof. It was a GIF for Jof the Loaf. And Vifex isn't one to post mature, but I think this one was, like I said, just some kind of inside joke or something. But there. Like I said, that's how I handle mature work. And like I said, if you click it, you have only yourself to blame for this one. And if you don't register, I don't know. If you don't register, I think they still have the mature filter, but they don't let you see it because you have to be above 18. Yeah, no kidding. Twilight is magic. No kidding about that one. Ugh. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? This next one is by Alasso, titled Let's Play Dress Up. Remember her from about 2 weeks ago when we did Age Spell Pirates? Well, this one is in a sort of similar vein of that. I'll read the description here. Quote, "This idea was originally meant to be an age spell idea, but finally I preferred it like that, with a group of sisters. Once again, she's making me choose, she's trying to make me choose, I will thank you all to not talk about the mature imagery, folks. Anyway, there's the link. Once again, she's making me choose between something that I like of equal value. The idea, the art itself, or the characters within it. And I can't pick which. By the way, AJ should wear Trixie's outfit more. She actually looks pretty darn good in it. Oh, it's just a great picture. Let's Play Dress Up by Alasso. Let's move along here. Which comics do we have left? We only have... I'm looking at our comic count because I kind of want to do that. But we only have one left. It's a long one, though, folks. So if you enjoy the voice acting... if you enjoy the voice acting, you're going to enjoy that comic. But I'm going to save that for the end because it's a long one. Anyway, this next one is titled Another Day, Another Dungeon by our good friend Vest. It's been a while since he's been on here, but not a bad thing. Well, there's a reason for it. That's what I'm trying to say. If if you remember, we've shown his work on here. I think it was before we moved to Brony State. It's been that long. But we've shown his work on here before, and I have about the same things to say about this one as I do the previous one. I love the color blending in this one. Architect. They do Twilight, or both of them do Twilight is Magic. I agree with you. The lighting in her eyes is superb. They really stick out amongst the darker background. And as I said, this guy knows how to blend colors together or to move from color to color. Check the sky going from left to right, and you'll see what I mean in particular. Or even some of the things like the blue road the bluish colored road that she's on, and compare that to the coloring in the background. Sir Gandalf. Fantastic work. Okay, I did put it up there. I'm going to run a quick lag test. How is the lag, folks? Okay. Thanks for the tip. About 5 years. Anyway, let's move on here. Okay. These next two are by Mickey Monster, and I guess there is a comic in here, but there is a comic in the next one I'll be showing. But for this one's titled Chrysalis Sombra Glare. Nothing really much to say in the description, but what I will say is peachy. I think I know what's going on here. Thanks for that, Mr. Ben, by the way. Yeah, I know, Punky Pew. We're doing the best we can. Anyway, there's the link. I've seen Sombra Chrysalis shipping, and I don't think this one is implying that, but I don't care. I think this one's just really cute. It's just really silly, really cute. I wonder if there's any other implication if he's trying to put there silly Zippy and evil off. Needs more emo off. There's something I got to show you guys one day, but we'll get there when we get there. That Twilight is Magic. All of that. No, she isn't, Brony Seth. Anyway, the next one is titled Disco Paya's Dynamaya. I'm not kidding. It goes like that. Everybody, who's in the air sometimes saying, ah! I could not resist. And now you know why I don't sing. Or at least I don't sing in public. Ah! There's your high note, Tim. There's your high note. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to take a drink of water. All right. I did put that in there. Disco Paya's Dynama by Mickey Monster. These next two are by an old friend, Kaz Tyne. Again, I know he's going to be getting this recording, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Oh, you guys. You are right, Candiru. I will say that. This next one is by Kaz Tyne, titled True Friends. Get you the link here. Quote, "A true friend is one who knows all about you and likes you anyway." The thing that really stuck out for me about this picture, folks, was some of the coloring tones. I love the fact that he has this pinkish lotus blossom type thing, or is that a cherry tree? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that I love the coloring, particularly on AJ's mane. Well, actually all of AJ, for that matter. It's just nothing but uber cute, and it really complements this whole color scheme he has going with her. I will bring your attention to something. Quote, "There's a reason why I rarely draw Spike. It's not that I dislike him or anything like that. I'm not much of a fan of dragons, to be honest, but I really like his personality. If I just go with the personality and leave any looks and singing voices aside, I like him and Applejack the most. They aren't perfect, but to me, they are the nearest to perfect." Sorry. "And that doesn't go well together with what I like to draw. Tears, depression, and so on. I simply don't like the idea of them being sad and depressed." End quote. Is that spammer back, Mr. Ben? He used camouflage. Fan-damn-tastic. Thanks for that, though, Shizu. And this next one is titled Arr. Arr. We Are Pirates. Get you the link here. I'm just going to kind of let this one speak for itself, but one of the things that I do want to say is, first of all, that scarf on Luna is cute. Two, it's been a long time since we've seen Pipsqueak and Luna together, especially in pirate garb like this, so I think it's just really cute. What do you guys have to say? Do what you want, because a pirate is free. You are a pirate. And now you've got me singing Dyke-Hike's version. Thank you, Mr. Ben. Okay, I'm moving on. I really am, folks. That makes a good point there, Twilight is Magic. Okay, we'll go with this one next. This one is titled Cloudsdale's Best Flyer, Rainbow Dash by Adopt a Pony Shadow. It took me a while to get this one around on the show, and that was just because of time's sakes. But when I saw this one, I saw it and I just went, whoa. The bright colors really stand out on this one, and I love it for that reason. One of the things that I do kind of like about this one is, you remember that one of, it was Celestia Frank I showed a couple of weeks ago, like 3 or 4? That it kind of reminded me of that. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to bring that one back for that very reason. Or I'm going to bring this one up for that in some senses, that reason. And I'm happy to. Brightness attack. All right. Moving along here. This next one is by our good friend Antiender, titled Birthday Hero. Sorry. Remember how we've not only been showing this series of his, but a long time ago we showed Pinkie with the long straight hair. I refuse to refer to Pinkie Pie as Pinkamena with droopy hair, and Pinkie Pie as the poofy hair. As far as I know, they're one and the same pony. Anyway, as I was saying, do you remember how a long time ago I showed that? And I don't know if this was before I don't remember if this was before the move or not. However, I love this one. Partially just because favorite pony kind of thing. Okay, thanks for the heads up, silly Zippy. The not only just because she's my favorite pony, but the styling of the mane is fantastic. I love that styling. Gummy, yeah, I do like how people have been pointing out a realistic look. Agreed, Muffinshire. It shows bands. It just shows bands and quits. Rec. If you're referring to me, I just haven't gotten around to getting rid of them. Um, mostly just because laziness. Actually, that's exactly it. Just pure laziness. All right, I showed that, but let's move on here. You make it okay. That's actually a good point, Matt the Shadow Man. Her main is kind of G1 G2ish style. I I would agree, and that's not a bad thing. But all right, and that's it for all the art except that comic. So let's get the comic, shall we? This one's titled "One Special Talent" by Texas Uber Allies. I hope that's Allies. Allies. I can't tell. It's spelled Alles. So bear with me. Now, how this goes is it's set up in 3 pages, so that's why it's going to take a little while, folks. But but we'll go through it. We'll go through it all, and I'll provide you the links each time. So, one special talent. This is page 1. Oh, and Rec, if you're here to listen to me try and speak as Twilight, I apologize in advance. Hello, Applejack. May I ask you something? Oh, howdy, Twilight. I never knew many Earth ponies in Canterlot, and you're the only pony I trust enough to ask a question like this. Glad to help. I'm kind of busy, though, so we'll have to talk whilst I work. Okay. Well, every pony has one special talent, signified by their cutie mark. Eventually. But Pegasi can also fly and control the weather. Just keep refreshing, Zippy. There's the first page, folks. It actually does end very well, folks. I won't spoil it, of course. We'll get there. Unicorns can cast magic spells and perform complex tasks tasks with telekinesis. Try saying that fast 3 times, folks. But Earth ponies can't do any of those things. They usually just work in agriculture. And most ponies don't even notice where their food comes from. Next! It just seems like Earth ponies get defined by what they lack. So I hope it isn't rude for me to ask, but I'm genuinely curious. Do you ever resent it? Page 2. And finally, page 3. So you want to know if I ever so you want to know if I ever resent. No, that's too masculine. I apologize. So you want to know if I ever resent being an Earth pony instead of a Pegasus who got one special talent and can also fly, or a unicorn who's got a special talent and can cast mysterious spells? Honestly, Twilight, I don't think I understand the question. Thanks, Applejack. I think I have a letter to write. Yeah, I know. Maybe you could ask Pinky, if she ain't busy baking or throwing a party or breaking the panel borders or playing 10 instruments at once, leading every pony in a song cue or predicting the future or farming rocks or shooting a party cannon. Thanks, Applejack. Thanks, Applejack. Nothing is too muscular. Yeah, I do like that. All of a sudden, honestly, Twilight, poof, there's a flower. I don't understand the question. Yeah, breaking the panel borders. I got page 3 up. That's One Special Talent. All of it by Texas Uber Allies. Yeah, again, I just hope that you guys enjoy that. It's so bad it's good, or at least so bad it's enjoyable. And that's it for art, folks. Non-talented, my plot. Darn right, Twilight is magic. Darn right. All right. I think we'll go with this one first. Kind of want to save the big one for the end here. Moving on to videos, folks. This next one is by a good friend, Mr. Ponyator, titled A Rumble Story. You guys probably saw this one if you're still subscribed to him. And I would say subscribe to him because even though he's kind of shifted out of making pony videos, he still makes a few like this one. Anyway, A Rumble Story. Quote, for every cute little bugger, there's a huggle. Twilight is magic. Yeah, I know, Mr. Ben. It falls under lucky bastard. This next one is by Exactus Eurobeat, titled Never-Ending Nightmare, a song for Princess Luna. Something I want to bring before I start this one. I found this one, and I was shocked that I liked this one so much, but I'm happy I do. Anyway, Never-Ending Nightmare.
Save my I scream to the stars and their lands. My heart grows colder than the blackest skies of night. I'm losing control to the evil inside. There's no escaping from the pain I cannot hide. We burn in the shadows of this never-ending nightmare tonight. Driven to insanity by hatred and apathy, I scream to the stars and they answer. My heart grows colder than the blackest skies of night. I'm losing control to the evil inside. There's no escaping from the pain I cannot hide. We burn in the shadows of this never-ending nightmare tonight.
Never Ending Nightmare by Exactus Eurobeat. There you go. Oh, and one other thing. Can't believe I forgot that. And that's all we have for both art, video, music, the first hour stuff, folks. So, you ready to move on to the pony? Hopefully the lag will clear up after the episode, so it's just speech and whatnot. But anyway, let's move on. Over a barrel.
Yellowbirdie thought to himself, my favorite little tree isn't such a little tree anymore. So she sang her song big and strong, and they all lived in that great big tree happily ever after. The end.
Applejack! Were you reading a bedtime story to an apple tree?
Well, being replanted in a whole new place is very upsetting for a tree. And Bloomberg here's one of my favorites.
No fair, Applejack. You thought a luxurious private sleeper car for a tree, while I am crowded and crammed in the same car with all the other ponies. How am I supposed to get my beauty sleep?
But Bloomberg's the whole reason we're making this trip. He needs his dress so we can give him as a gift to my relatives in Appaloosa.
You talk about it as if it's your baby or something.
Who are you calling a baby? Bloomberg's no baby. Don't let little Rarity make go all saddy-waddy. Bloomberg's a big and strong apple tree. Yes, he is. A coochie coochie coo coo coo.
It's Whittle Rarity who's all saddy-waddy.
My little pony, my little pony. Ah, my little pony. I used to wonder what friendship could be. My little pony. Until you all shared its magic with me. Big adventure,
Tons of fun.
a beautiful heart, faithful and strong.
Sharing kindness.
It's an easy feat, and magic makes it all complete. You have mine. Did you know you're all my very best friends?
morning. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Do you guys mind? I was up early fire roasting those snacks you're all eating, and I'm pooped.
Speaking of, some of these popcorn kernels didn't get popped.
Okay, fine. Good night.
Maybe it's time we all got a little shut-eye. We've got a big day ahead of us tomorrow.
Pinkie Pie, you asleep yet? No. Are you asleep yet? If I was sleeping, how could I have asked you if you were asleep? Oh, yeah. When we get to Appaloosa, you think we'll have to carry that heavy tree all the way from the train to the orchard? What tree? You mean Bloomberg?
No, Fluttershy.
Fluttershy's not a tree, silly.
What's going on?
Rainbow Dash thinks Fluttershy's a tree. I do not think she's a tree. I was
Did
just...
you say she was a tree?
No. Well, yes, but not exactly.
You know, she's not a tree, right?
She's not a tree, Dashy. I'd like to be a tree.
Oh, for Pete's sake!
Well, that was kind of huffy.
Huffy the Magic Dragon.
Would you all be quiet now? Bloomberg? Bloomberg! Sorry, but I tend to snore a bit. Good night.
A buffalo stampede! I just love their accessories.
They're getting awfully close to the train.
Now they're doing tricks! Now do a backflip! Or just jump. Something tells me this isn't a circus act. Hey there, where are you headed in such a hurry?
Wow, you're pretty quick for someone so... Well, no offense. I just want to know... Hey! I'm talking to you! Whoa! I've got you now! They got Bluebird! Ah! And Spike! Dragon napping Spike. I'll show her.
Hey there! Welcome to Appaloosa!
Brayburn, listen.
Cousin Applejack, mind your manners. You have yet to introduce me to your compadres. Shame on you.
Brayburn, listen. Something terrible's happened.
Terrible is right. Your train is a full 7 minutes late. That's 7 minutes less for you to delight in the pleasures and wonders of Appaloosa. Boggles the mind. We settler ponies built all this in just the past year, don't it? And as you can see, we have all of the finest comforts, like horse-drawn carriages.
Okay, you pull now. Ah, we just switched.
And those there are horse-drawn carriages.
Listen, Brayburn,
And here's our local watering hole, the Salt Block.
That's enough salt for you!
can't I at least get a glass of water?
Oh, there's the office of Sheriff Silverstar. And here's where we have our Wild West dances. And here's where we have our Mild West dances.
But Brayburn,
And here's the most wonderful sight in all of Appaloosa, our apple orchard.
Brayburn,
First harvest should be any day now.
Brayburn,
Good thing, too. Because we need that grub to live on.
Brayburn!
Yes, cuz?
You have a very nice town and all, but we have a huge problem. Some of our friends are missing.
A stampede of buffalo.
They took Spike! Rainbow Dash went after them!
And we can't find Pinkie Pie.
And we had an apple tree with us for your orchard, but they took that too.
Did you say buffalo? Them buffalo, they want us settler ponies to take every single tree you see here off this land. They sure as hey don't want any new ones added in.
But why?
Beats me. We put a lot of hard work into this land so we could feed our town, our families, our foes. And now they're saying all these trees have to go? Tain't fair.
Oh, I can't wait to get my hose on that little buffalo. Huh? Ow! Nobody tricks Rainbow Dash and gets away with it. Boo! Pinkie Pie! Ah, you caught me. Looks like I tricked you and didn't get away with it either. You're good. Shh! What do you think you're doing? You gotta get out of here. I do? You're gonna blow my cover. I am? I'm trying to save Spike. Oh my gosh! So am I! And the more of us there are out here, the more chances of us getting caught. Run, Pinkie. I'll hold him off. Save yourself. Stop!
Dash, Pinkie, sup? Hey, no worries, I know those guys. They're cool.
You say so, Spike. Catch you later, bro.
Seems they took me by mistake. They feel awful about it too, poor guys. Fortunately, they totally respect dragons, so they treat me like an honored guest. Still don't like ponies much though, but they're with me, so it's cool.
Well, I still don't trust him. I say we turn tail and bail while we still... Before we finish eating? Are you loco in the cocoa? Can I please have more of that mushy stuff, whatever it was? Certainly. And Mr. Spike, you like gemstones, yes?
Turquoise. This here's Little Strongheart. And these are my friends, Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash.
You! That's it! We are out of here! Wait! Please, accept my apologies for what happened on the train. We didn't mean for anyone to be hurt. Yeah, right. We only wanted the tree. The settler ponies have overtaken the land and have planted an orchard all over it. Because of their thoughtlessness, we can no longer run over our traditional stampeding grounds. Huh?
I think it's time they met Chief Thunderhooves.
We have a long and winding stampeding trail that we have run upon for many generations. My father stampeded upon these grounds, and his father before him, 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 and...
I think they get the idea, Chief.
It is a sacred tradition to run the path every year. But this year, these settler ponies, these Appaloosans,
They planted apple trees all over it without asking our permission. Well, that's not very nice, right, Rainbow Dash? The ponies refuse to move their trees, so we are stuck here, and it is not fair.
See, Rainbow Dash? They had a good reason to...
I'll say they had a good reason. Come on, we have some apple-picking Appaloosans to talk to. Gently, please.
headed for a long hike into buffalo territory if we're gonna save them. Let's go!
Hi, guys! Pinky! We're so glad you're safe. Oh, thank goodness! How did you escape from the buffalo? We didn't. We promised the buffalo a chance to talk.
Oh, yeah? About what?
We brought our new pal Little Strongheart here to explain to the Appaloosans why they should move the apple trees off Buffalo Land.
That information will be quite helpful.
That's weird, because my cousin Brayburn here wants to explain to the buffalo why they should let the apple trees stay.
That would be a useful thing to... The land is theirs. You planted the trees not knowing that. Honest mistake. Now, you just gotta move them, that's all.
Well, they busted their rumps here, and now they're supposed to bust their rumps again just because some buffalo won't stampede someplace else?
Plant the trees somewhere else.
Where? It's the only flat land around these parts.
The buffalo had it first.
The settler ponies need it to live.
Come on, Applejack.
You're being
I put my hook
unreasonable.
down. You look. Both the settlers and the buffalo have good reasons to use this land. There must be something we can do. Hey, I've got an idea. We may be divided, but of you all I beg to remember we're all hoofed at the end of each leg. No matter what the issue, come from wherever you please. All this fighting gets you nothing but huff and mouth disease. Arguing's not the way. Hey, come out and play! It's a shiny new day. So what do you say? You gotta share. You gotta care. It's a right thing to do. You gotta share. You gotta care. And there'll always be a way through. Both our diets, I should mention, are completely vegetarian. We all eat hay and oats. Why be at each other's throat? You gotta share. You gotta care. It's the right thing to do, and there'll always be a way through.
All right, Pinkie Pie, that was fantastic. What a great song. You're right on.
It appears that Sheriff Silverstar and I have come to an agreement.
We have.
That was the worst performance we've ever seen.
Evidently.
The time for action is upon us. Our stampede will start at high noon tomorrow. And if the orchard is still there, we'll flatten it and the whole town.
But Chief,
And we Appaloosans say you'd better bring your best, 'cause we'll be ready and waiting.
But, Sheriff!
oh, that wasn't the message of my song at all.
I want my kin to have what they need to live, but a storm's a brewing here, and I don't like the look of it.
We've just got to talk some sense into them before some pony gets hurt. Listen, maybe if you would just reconsider about the trees. Now, if you just... If we could just sit down and talk, we could... Why won't anybody be rational and reasonable?
Sheriff, if we could only... some way to stop this?
Unless the settlers remove those trees, I do not think so.
I know you don't want to do this.
But they have taken our land. What would you have me do, Rainbow Dash?
I don't know. But it's never too late to think of something.
At noon, it will be too late.
Come on. Think. Think. He's not gonna do it.
Say, you gotta share, you gotta care. It's the right thing to do. You gotta share.
Ready? Aim! Fire!
Hey, I've got a much better idea. We will allow the apple orchard to stay in exchange for a share of its fruit. Most delicious apple pies.
I'd rather eat turquoise any day of the week. Oh, Bloomberg, this is your special day. Mama's so proud of you.
Dear Princess Celestia, friendship is a wondrous and powerful thing. Even the worst of enemies can become friends. You need understanding and compromise. You've got to share. You've got to care.
Hey! That's what I said!
Ladies and gentlemen, over a barrel. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was looking at the time and it just seemed a little weird, or it just seemed off. Anyway, opening thoughts. I want apple pie. Of course, Twilight is magic. Of course. Okay. It was terrible. 10 out of 10. Little B. Arbitrary number out of 10. Okay, let's open this up. Unfortunately, I got to bring up a subject matter that I would rather not discuss on here, folks. But much like in Feeling Pinky Keen and some episodes in the future we'll be talking about, we got to bring up some stupid, controversial argument that everyone seems to be throwing out there. Just a quick question for all of you, and I only want yes or no answers on this, okay? We'll get to discussing this why first, but a quick question for all of you guys. After viewing this episode, whether this be your first time or your 50th time, I want to ask you guys, do you think this episode is in any way offensive or insensitive to Native Americans? In other words, it's racist. Like I said, I want yes or no answers, just yes or no, and you don't have to answer, but I just want to ask. We'll get to this, like I said, we'll get to the discussion afterwards, but just I just want your initial thoughts on that. No. Okay, a lot of you are saying no. I like that, first of all. I have to agree with you. But of course, like I said, this is just a big case of vocal minority syndrome all over again. I'm going to play a little clip for you guys, just because and that's just it, Matt the Shadow Man, is, again, that's the problem with vocal minority syndrome. They pick some really stupid topic like racism in this case and basically make that the whole episode. And that's the thing that we try to avoid on here. But, as I was saying, I want to play this little video clip for you guys. Where is it? Here we go. This is for all the people with VMS. I have to give a little bit of background in this one. And like I said, I want to show this one just because it's going to be a great discussion point. But I guess if we're all being pretty unanimous, that's kind of pointless. Anyway, let's get this out of the way. A long time ago, there was a video game called Resident Evil 5. Why am I bringing this up? Because there was a little before that game was released, it brought up some controversy. Why? For those of you who don't know, the Resident Evil series is a zombie shooter game. And, well, one of the protagonists is white. And guess where this zombie shooter takes place in? If you guessed Africa, you would be correct. In other words, it's a white man shooting black people, despite the fact that they're, zombies and trying to kill you. Anyway, there's a video series out on the internet titled Arby and the Chief, made by John CJG. If you want, first of all, I know he's been shown on Brony State before. Second, I highly recommend him. Third, there's an episode of his titled Evil, which deals with this notion of racism. And that's the clip I want to play. So let's, I'm going to play it.
Hey guys.
Hey friend. Have you decided to stand alongside us?
I haven't, although while I disagree that the game is racist, I do see how it could be considered insensitive. My position is merely from an entertainment standpoint. I of course don't condone murder, but regardless, killing people in video games has proven to be downright fun, and I believe the enemies that fall victim to our pixel-art bloodlust ought to be anyone of any race. It's understandable to me how the release of a game like Resident Evil 5 can be like slapping a sunburn to some, but on the other hand, omitting certain races from equal digital punishment and focusing on our differences is only holding us back in the long run from, as ironic as this may sound, loving one another. Capcom's story takes place in Africa, and I truly believe they developed their game with no intention of offending anybody. What do you guys say we acknowledge Africa's unfortunate state of affairs, but just enjoy the game for what it is?
Maybe he's right. I think we may have taken things a little too far with this in-game protesting. Yeah.
You
You guys done with your faggoty protest? Chief with his offensive mouth. But what do you guys have to say about that line? Or this whole clip? No, I intentionally paused it. That's all I wanted to show. No. I was meaning the entire clip. What do you guys have to say about all of it, save the part with Master Chief at the end saying, "You guys done with your faggoty protest?" Again, it's something I don't want to touch. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Matt the Shadow Man, but all I'm going to say about that clip in relationship to this episode, at the most neutral level, that's covering it, my opinion right there. And everyone here saying no, they don't see it as racist, I agree with you on that one. Okay. Yeah, I realize there's a lot going on in the chat now concerning this god-awful spammer. So we'll try and work around all of this. Just do as Shizu says and get it over with, people. You're going to save all of us a lot of trouble. But all right, let's get focusing on the episode, folks. What do you guys want to talk about? I guess I'll ask, what do you want to start with? One wants to start with Matt dislike Pinky. The toilet market. All right. Let's discuss that, Matt. Why do you claim that? We'll get to that, J.E. Smith, but I'm asking Matt why he thinks Pinky is bad in this episode. And like I said, I should warn you guys, don't make a claim on this show unless you're prepared to back it up, because chances are good I will call you out on it. In my humble opinion, she's just fine. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. If anything, she's extra cute in this episode, if you ask me. In terms of a character, nothing was off or anything. She was like I said, extra adorable overall. I especially liked her in the opening scene. But what are her bad decisions? Could be just a sign of victory, given the fact that people are the people that, you know, hooray, we won, and maybe it was on her, maybe it was just on her tongue, or of course it was just used to, at the very worst, it was just basically a victory song. I am streaming Lil B. And I guess, you know, god-awful is subjective, but I'm not going to get into that. Ultimately, I think it falls under, in this case, a story element, not in so much as just a choice. Now, what do I mean by this? We all wanted the buffalo to run, or to charge. That much was pretty much a given, or at least... Let me propose this question to you. What if Pinky had not sung, and the buffalo had not charged? Then what? Ignore the notion of it would end the episode. We'll get to that, Little B, don't worry. And like I said, I'm only asking these questions for you guys to consider. In my humble opinion, if the buffalo had not charged, it would have been an extraordinarily anticlimactic ending, which would have been really bad. But isn't that what the message of the episode is, Matt the Shadow Man, ultimately? And here comes, and I'll expand upon this. This, I kind of wanted to get into the characterization of Chief Thunderhooves myself. Something I wanted to bring up concerning him is... Hey, I'm just sticking by... And as I said, this is bringing me to my characterization of Chief Thunderhooves here. The best way that I can describe this guy is he's a political leader. More specifically, a proud political leader. What's going to happen when something both he as a person and he as the entire group of buffalo have something taken from them like that, like their land, or at least, you know, a part of it anyway. You're going to fight to get it back. And if you don't fight to get it back, you're going to lose it. So, this brings me to what I was referring to earlier about him being a proud political leader. He'll fight to get it back, but this is wherein his pride comes in. to talk with them and just discuss things, nothing in there comes across that that's his persona. Nothing in here says that Chief Thunderhooves is exactly the most reasonable guy, if you can buy that for a minute. As such, something like, we are going to trample the town and we will trample the town and we will trample the apple trees for our land, unless you guys agree to move. That sounds more like this guy, Chief Thunderhooves. As such, this brings me back to the whole just before the charging scene. We get the notion that as I said earlier, he's not going to, compromising isn't exactly his strong suit. They give the notion of him saying, you know, maybe I should talk about something else, or maybe we should talk. And then Pinky starts dancing. This is where I was meaning by it's more of a story element, not so much as though a bad decision. The buffalo charged because Pinky started dancing. But what I find interesting is it feels like it was an interesting take on things. We expected the buffalo to charge, but they don't. And it took Pinky singing her song such that it got them to charge. And that's all I have to really say about that. Yeah, I saw something that irritated him and charged off. And as I said earlier, if they wouldn't have charged at all, it would have been an extremely anticlimactic ending, and it would have been an extremely bad episode. We would be sitting here saying how bad this, or at least I would, saying that the anticlimactic ending ruins this episode. That's pretty much hitting it on the head there, Obsidian. And that's my point, Twilight Sprinkle, is that Pinky's bit was just for the humor of it. Carry on, Twilight is Magic. I do want to see if you're going to... I want to see where you're going with this. That's a good point there, Little B. Which paints him a far more complex character, Twilight is Magic. See, sometimes all I have to do is just sit back and watch, just like a discussioner. Since you guys brought it up, why don't we... Since it seems to be fizzling out here, the concept of Pinky more than anything, let's move on to a different topic since it's fizzling out here. All right, let's discuss the Flutter Tree meme, shall we? If I'm not making it clear that I'm not tickled by this, let me make that perfectly clear right now. I'm not tickled by it. But what do you guys have to say about Fluttershy being a tree meme. I'll get to there in a second, Matt. I'm watching the chat right now. They both piss me off, Mr. Ben. You want to know why this one angers me, folks, so much? It's just like Scooter Chicken. Here's the fandom. Here's me. Let's force it on me some more, shall we? Have I made it clear? What else should we talk about? Oh, I know. There is one thing I just want to bring up concerning the Buffalo. And this, I know this is going to kind of fall back on the, you're going to forgive me for this, that whole racism claim that we made earlier, but just hear me out on this. Something that always struck me nice about this episode is the fact that we have a Native American analogy through the Buffalo, but they don't speak a broken English dialect. I love that they speak a perfect English, because believe me, I've met Native Americans, and they speak a perfect English. They really do. If anything, Twilight is magic. Oversaturation kills a lot of things, and we'll get there when we get there in terms of some other episodes, but we'll get there when we get there. And that's just it, is the whole Fluttertree and Scooter Chicken thing. I don't mind if it can either be done creatively or can be done, or if it wasn't, if I hadn't seen it for the 50th time today alone. But as I said, I refer you to my metaphor earlier with, it earlier. All right, let's talk about some of the why don't we talk about some of the other characters in this episode? The only two that I really have to talk about on my list here is just Brayburn and Rainbow Dash. But if you guys have any other characters we want to bring up with, we'll get to them in a second. But for now, let's talk about Brayburn, shall we? What do you guys have to say about him? I don't hate when jokes are... How do I put this? It depends on the joke, Matt the Shadow Man. And to be fair, I haven't seen those Ponies Recreate videos, so bear with me on that. But one of the things that, like I said, that irritates me is when it's the same joke played over and over and over and over again, forced upon me so much because everyone thinks it's funny. But here's the secret. Not everyone thinks it's funny. As I was saying, let's talk about Brayburn, folks. What do you have to say about him? Not yet, Mr. Ben. I'll sign off with it. I do have to kind of agree with you. It is a little bit sad that he is a little underdeveloped. However, he serves very little to the story So sadly, there isn't that much to say. Wreck. That's a good point, Twilight is Magic. He is one of the few ponies who actually has an outfit get out, so and it works well with him. That's about the best way of putting it, Matt. I will say one thing about him, though, that does give him a nice edge. His whole Appaloosa line, I like that it sets him apart. If I say, what do you guys think of Brayburn? First word or first thing that comes to your mind. What are you guys going to say? Ryunosuke, that line. Night Wreck. Yeah, he's not the only one who's going to have to get an early night's sleep here. Anyway, Appaloosa. Have fun behaving. Someone mentioned. All right, let's move on to the next character. Night Wreck. Let's move on to the next character I want to talk about here, Rainbow Dash. Again, little B. I refer you to my metaphor earlier. It's gonna hurt my hands for a little while. But let's talk about Rainbow Dash. I know someone had a good point to bring up about her, so I ask you, what do you guys have to say about Rainbow Dash in this episode? It's in this episode specifically. How so, Twilight is Magic? Okay. It's okay. Derpy, who we're referring to in this episode, over a barrel, not anywhere else. Something that I do want to bring up that when I was doing a little research on this that I noticed in this episode, something that I feel like bringing up here. Where did I put it? In the scene, quote, in the scene where she's surrounded by the buffalo, Dash was willing to let Pinky flee while she held the buffalo off. Derpy hooves. I refer you to what Mr. Ben will do otherwise. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is I love this character trait they gave her. And to be fair, this is kind of one of those... we might have missed it before, but it's worth bringing up now that it's a little bit more prevalent. And correct, Twilight is Magic. She's very altruistic to those she's loyal to. I like that character trait. I really do. I know people like that. I'm one of those kind of people. Hang on, folks. I'm still here. Oh, Milky Whiskers, take care. I didn't see you leave there. Hugs for you. Anyway, I'm curious if if you guys are still there. If you're still there, try and say something. Okay, I see people. Okay, people are here still. Apparently we were running a test or something. I feel it was within her character, Dark Horse. We'll get to that in a second, Matt the Shadow Man. I promise you that when we start evaluating the whole episode overall. But like I said, we'll get to that in a second. Hold off on that. Anyway, Dark Horse. I have to disagree with you on that. Rainbow Dash comes across as one who's a very proud pony. She's very righteous in as much as she is self-righteous. But the idea of her being her wanting to correct a right and a wrong sounds very much within her realm of characterization. But that's just me. I mean, that's the way I feel. And again, I refer you to what I just said, that the idea of correcting a wrong is something within her character. So being told that the buffalo's land has been taken and trying to correct such a thing is, again, within her character. And as Twilight is Magic just said, it's a character trait, not a mistake. Obsidian? Really? Again, it's a bit of I have to disagree with you on that. And if you've noticed, she never heard the settler ponies argument until after hearing the buffalo. So she really had only one side to judge until a future time, wherein a lot of judgment has already been made. And I'm sure a lot of us have been put in that kind of a situation before, where we hear such a story about someone, especially a negative one, we judge it right there and we fail to hear the other side's story. And again, I refer you to what Twilight is Magic is pointing out here. Take care, Milky Whiskers. Sort of, Twilight is Magic. I sort of have to agree with you on that. In the beginning they do, but eventually the two, both sides merge into a peaceful setting. Again, I refer you to when both sides were preparing for war, wherein they were both trying to say, can we sit down and talk? And I love Chief Thunderhoof's question here. What would you have me do, Rainbow Dash? That's a bit of a tough pill to swallow. Take care, crazy noobs. Again, I have to disagree with that, or Sir Ganjolf, that they didn't bring any disharmony on it. The only thing they were at best was just, I say at best, of course, an objective third party. They were basically an audience to this conflict going on. And at worst, they were people trying to get involved in the situation. Basically, Alex M. Twilight is magic. I agree with that. I suppose I could say that Dash could have said talk with them, but I'm guessing that would have fallen under that's out of the question for Chief Thunderhooves. He would have said, not going to happen. I would agree with you on that, Matt the Shadow Man. We've already discussed the song and the charge scene, what triggered the charge scene. There is a point in the end scene that I do want to talk about, but we'll get there next. But for now, I don't want to talk about what we've already talked about, folks. So let's move on past Pinky triggering the charge, all right? Do you guys have anything left to say about Rainbow Dash? Okay, since it seems like we're not saying anything, let's move on. All right, I want to talk about the end scene, the entire ending. This is after the Buffalo have charged. So if you guys start saying about Pinky, knock it off. The Buffalo have already charged. What do you guys have to say about this scene? Is there lag or something, folks? I'll repeat what I said. Let's talk about the charge, the end scene. What do you guys have to say about the end scene? Yeah, Obsidian, I do. The battle itself. The Buffalo are best trucks. I got just one word for Chief Thunderhooves in that scene, Twilight is Magic. Juggernaut. A 30-second lag, damn it. Yeah, again, I know there's a big lag here, but there's no doubt in my mind it's the internet connection. Of course, someone's probably BitTorrenting something, so it's just clogging the bandwidth right now. Bear with us, folks. Alchemist, I'm looking at it from my perspective as a kid. Yeah, I know I'm not a 10-year-old girl. Bear with me, folks, but that kind of stuff was the stuff I grew up with. Classic cartoon stuff. So to see something like this, that would have been funny. I would have loved that kind of stuff. I would have eaten that stuff up as a kid. Yeah, you make a good point there, Twilight is Magic. There's one thing I want to point out. There's an episode of Bugs Bunny episode titled Bully for Bugs, wherein he takes on this bull in a matador type style. You guys have probably seen it. It's one of the more famous of his episodes. There were two bits from the scene before and the scene during the charge that I want to point out to you. The buffalo sharpening their horns on the grinding stone is something taken from that episode of Bully for Bugs. And one of the buffalo hitting that anvil, you guessed it, that was something Bugs pulled out. Again, this is so Polsky that he takes these classic cartoon elements and just integrates them perfectly into his episodes. That was funny. I loved those scenes. That's partially why I like this scene so much, is because it's so reminiscent of these classic cartoons that I just can't help but smile, both as an adult and as a kid. The anvil! On a serious note, though, I do want to point something out. We've got stampeding buffalo, these little ponies, and they're either throwing pies or going up to them face to face, like riding on them and whatnot. Sign me up for this stuff. Even if you ignore all of the old school cartoon allusions, sign me up for this. This scene was just enjoyable to watch, just because it's so darn silly. Dark Horse. Wally was winning 2000. Would have been a pretty recent allusion. I didn't catch that, Matt the Shadow Man, but that's a good point. All right, I want to finish up now on. That's what I'm referring to. Twilight is Magic. You've got these little ponies going up against these huge buffalo. That's impressive. These ponies, as Dark Horse put it, balls of silver. All right, I do want to shift to a more serious tone here. We'll get to that when we get to the overall episode analogy, Alchemist. But for now, I do want to bring something up. And that's mostly it's both going to pertain to the lesson. Meaning, did you guys notice how that's what I'm referring to, SWAC 16. The point I'm trying to make here is, did you guys notice how it took a brawl, a citywide brawl, and one of the political leaders to, I'll say die, but I'll use that term loosely here, before everyone realized maybe we made a mistake? And this is a great real-life analogy for not only just on the top political leaders, but it was but for all of us. How many times have you guys seen it where, more often than not, it always escalates to violence? And only after both sides have basically been beaten to, if you pardon the pun and stretch your reasoning, beaten to death, only then do the people realize the wrong they've done. And only then do they realize, maybe we could have done more. One of the nice things I do like about this episode, and the episode, is the fact that no one does die. But of course, like I said, yeah, Matt the Shadow Man hitting the nail on the head there. Sadly, violence had to break out before people could do anything about it. But thankfully in here, no one died. So they were finally able to realize there is something we can do. I actually kind of like the way it ended there. The pie being the that hit Chief Thunderhooves, that he tasted and that just fell under. That gives me an idea. Dark Horse. As funny as that is, in a serious light, that is true. And finally, they then reach that compromise, which, again, it begs the question, did you really have to go through all that fighting to achieve that end. And that's, I know that would have killed the whole episode itself, but bear with me on this. This is more of a real life analogy. A real life question I am asking. All right, we are starting to run out a little bit on time here, but I've still got a little time left to spare. Do you guys have any last minute things you want to say about that end scene? Eating the opponent's explosive cakes. Twilight is magic. I like that one. You make a good point there, Candaru. I think, Mr. Ben, I think that was just to make them go down faster. In the sense of, I think the only reason we see Applejack getting all the apples down in one kick is because, mostly just for cartoon effects more than anything, or convenience, animation convenience. However, they used 2 in here, much like they did at the end of episode 4. They had AJ, or not AJ, Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy kicking down that tree to get them all down. Or that too, Alex M. That's actually a good point. It's open for interpretation. But really a moot point. Okay, guys. So now I'll ask the big question. Actually, there is a point I want to make just before we move to the episode summary. What do you guys think of the song? Howdy, Saturn. I can't believe we missed the song, though, but again, I do want to bring it up. What do you guys have to say about the song? I agree, Twilight is magic. Take care, Moonview. I agree it's not one of the best songs, but I do hold this one in high regards myself. That was probably the point, Candaru. Part of the reason I don't think it was exactly memorable, I will say, Alchemist, is because, well, obviously there are other songs out there. This one's a minor song. That's how I classify this one as a minor song. It's less than 2 minutes. That constitutes a minor song, folks. And at least in season 1. I'm curious if this one is, Matt. Much like some other things we brought up on here, I'm curious if this song was supposed to be terrible. Much like in the We Are the Cutie Mark Crusaders. As in it was not supposed to be good, so that we could sympathize with the audience in saying that was terrible. So in that respect, Matt, it was supposed to be then. That's a good point, Mr. Ben. That too, Matt the Shadow Man. That's the point I'm trying to bring up. Is some of these songs are supposed to be terrible. It takes you have to take it in context. Okay, I'm sorry. If I don't get your point, I apologize, folks, that if it makes it look like I'm taking credit for something you said. I'm not trying to. I'm just thick up here. I will say one thing about the song scene, though. Pinky knows how to wear that outfit. That is a damn good outfit on her. We do. We've already discussed that, Matt. We're not going there again. Okay, let's move on, folks. Let's wrap the episode discussion bit up. What do you guys think of the episode overall? Taking everything into perspective, what do you guys have to say about it? It is, Mr. Ben, and I decided not to talk about that scene as, again, it's a minor detail. It's just a minor detail. We can talk about that after the show if you want, but again, let's talk about the what you guys think. Braver out of 10. Candaru, we aren't done yet, so we could see them again. I doubt we will, but again, it's possible. That's a good point, Alex. That is something I would like to bring up. Or I guess, if anything, pay attention to that, folks, because that is something that is good about this episode. It helps to expand the world of Equestria. And we see, different sapient species and their cultures. How would you have done that, Matt the Shadow Man? That's a valid point, Obsidian. Twilight is magic. The whole birth of Venus thing, eh, Dark Horse? Nittany. How would you have characterized the two sides then, Matt the Shadow Man? Because that's a good question to ask in this respect. Twilight is magic. I'm waiting on Matt the Shadow Man's answers here, people, so bear with me on that. So I'm not just sitting here because I'm bored. Is that an inside joke, Nittany Discord? If Matt's not going to answer, then we're going to move on from here, and I'll give you guys my saying that the joke, Nittany, was that you'll see it in winter. What's happening in winter? Season 4 is coming. Matt, this also begs the question of, so how do you show that? Not only just show it, in an alternate format of what they did here, but how do you show that in a 22-minute episode? That's okay. That's okay. Again, if you don't have anything to say to that, Matt, just tell me. Otherwise, otherwise I'm just kind of waiting for you for your response on that. Okay, yeah. And for the record, no, I'm not going to be picking on you here personally. I'm just bringing this up. Something I feel a lot of people fail to take into account is they look at the episode they only look at it for what is presented. And while in some respects I can see why people do that, sometimes I feel that people fail to look at what goes on behind the scenes. Now, do I know exactly what goes on behind the scenes? Of course not. But I do at least have an idea. And when it comes to writing these episodes, there's always a time problem. So it falls under you can't stuff the frivolous in there. And if you only get your one shot, your 22 minutes, you got to make everything count. Even if some of it seems a little, let me rephrase that. Some of it, not only to you personally, but to some audience members, it feels contrived to one degree or another. It's going to happen. I just hope that most people are willing to overlook the minor stuff. All right, I'll give you my impression of this episode, and I'll wrap it up here. Overall, yes, I do like this episode. Originally, this one was in my top 10 favorites of season 1, but the more I watched it, the more it kind of fell out of place there. Even before I watched even by the time I did get done with season 1, and by the time I got out of season 1, this one just fell outside of my top 10, like 11 or 12, somewhere in that neighborhood. The thing that I liked about this was just a big Wild West shootout done pony style. Again, sign me up for that. But I think the biggest fault that I think this episode had was the perspective. What do I mean by that? At some point during the episode, it feels like we're shifting from the focus of the main 6 to the Buffalo settler pony perspective. But the problem is I just don't feel that the perspective shift was complete. It basically keeps the perspective shift sits somewhere between these two, and I feel that just kind of hurts the episode itself. And as such, you feel that personal tension of the perspective shift, and you just go, where are we? And that's like I said, that's the biggest flaw I find with this episode. However, with that in mind, I do want to say that I do feel this is a bit of an underrated and overlooked episode. Mind you, it's not infamous, but it's not famous, and I would kind of like to see a little more dialogue of this episode brought up amongst people. But that's just me. That's just me. And I say this not amongst us, I mean this as the entire Brony community. And that's all I really have to say about the episode, folks. Alright, in closing, do you guys have any final thoughts about anything? Anything pony related, because we will be wrapping this up now. Sadly, I think you're right, Alchemist, and that's very unfortunate, because there's a lot to love in this episode, as we just pointed out. Mr. Ben. I am glad, first of all. I do want to say I thank you guys for saying, when I brought up the racism argument, that you said, no, you didn't see it. I like that. I want to say thank you for that. I'm reading your comment here, Matt the Shadow Man. Yeah, I see that. I have no objection against it. Equestrian League of Justice's first member. I like that. Twilight is magic. I will say this, Matt the Shadow Man. A lot of people have been... They've either been like me, they're neutral and are wait and see kind of people on Equestria Girls, which, like I said, that's where I sit. I'll wait and see it. Others are throwing fits over this, and I just have to. This begs the question. So all of you guys, this is girls included, who are throwing fits all over the place about this show. You were willing to give a show for little girls, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, a chance, yet you're unwilling to give this one a chance. Otakon. All right. Now, yeah, if it's shown and it sucks, your opinion, mind you, fine. I have no problem with that. But calling it beforehand, again. Ugh. Anyway, let's wrap this up, folks. Just a reminder, May 12th. May 12th. It's questionable if we will be broadcasting that day. I'm hoping to, so don't worry about anything. Next week we will. Next week we're planning on viewing A Bird in the Hoof, so the next episode on the list. And that's it. So, from all of us here at Babble with Bronies, that is, I am Everlasting Joy, my coworkers Twilight is Magic and Mr. Ben, both want to thank you guys, everyone, for stopping on by, whether you're here the whole time, part of the time, or, well, if you weren't here none of the time, then it was pointless. But we want to thank you. Thank you all for coming, and take care.